And it told me you're the president of your own life. Isn't that wonderful? Do you call yourself president every day?
No.
I look at the mirror and I say, hello, president. You don't do that? Let's do it now. Hello, president.
Hello, President.
See, we're all presidents. Turn to your left person and say, hello, president.
Hello, President.
How about your other person? Hello, president. You know, in Atomy, that's it, right? We have a chance to make $50,000 a month, right? And I added it up before in the calculator. That's $600,000 a year. That's a lot of money, right?
President money.
That's president money.
More than 50%.
That's a 1% money. You know, in New Jersey, you only have to make $400,000 a year to be considered in the 1%. Did you know that you're going to be in the 1%? And we're going to be nicer 1%, right?
Yep.
Because we're going to have a balanced life. Because Mr. Park is teaching us and encouraging us to build a balanced life. So today's all about dreaming and getting ready to live a dream as our president of our life. Successful presidents. Right? I mean, a very wise woman in this room said, to change your life, you have to change your mind. Is that right?
Yes.
To change your life, you have to change your mind. And most of us have trouble changing our minds. You know, there's a lot of psychology, a lot of studies, that the hardest thing to do is change your mind. Because our mind fools us. Our mind thinks that, like, we can't walk a mile or run a mile or 5 miles, right? Or our mind tells us that, you know, we can't convince this person to try the toothpaste. But that's all in our mind. Because when we go and say, try this toothpaste, what happens? Many of them try the toothpaste. Why wouldn't they? So our mind is, you know, a real obstacle to us. So we have to exercise our mind to dream, right? And dream. How many people have a dream? Can you raise your hand? Do you have a dream? You have a dream? Really? You have a dream? If you really have a dream, I think you'd go like this, I have a dream. You'd jump up and down like Martin Luther King. He's like, hey, he had a dream, a big dream, you know? I bet we're going to find out today that we're not dreaming big enough. Do we have any Imperial Masters here today? Anybody making $50,000 yet? That means none of us are dreaming big enough yet because we didn't get there. Right? We need big dreams. You know, I have a couple dreams. I'll just share with you, break the ice, you know. Like today you see me in my jeans. You say, well, I never saw him in jeans, right? I never come in jeans. But you know what one of my dreams is? One of my dreams is to be a venture catalyst. Invest in companies, like millions of dollars every company. And you know what those guys wear? They always wear jeans. And they wear cowboy boots usually. I'm going to get my cowboy boots soon. That'll give me a couple more inches too. But they always wear jeans. Go into Manhattan, you go to these venture conferences. Oh yeah. The more money people make, you'd be surprised. Sometimes they look like they don't have a lot of money. I one time had a chance to meet Rockefeller. And you know what they were wearing? Jeans. And they were driving a Ford Impala, like just basic. Rockefeller family member. They were wearing jeans and sweater. That was it. Because when you have a lot of money like that, you got to be careful too. You know, because people are going to take advantage of you too. But for Otomi, we're going to be very generous, so people are going to appreciate us and that kind of thing. But that's one of my dreams. So I broke the ice with that. But I had another dream too. When I was a kid, I was 9 years old, I used to look out the window. And I just had this dream that I wanted to get out of that house and that town and that city. It wasn't that a great city. It was like a rundown inner city. And I just wanted to get away. I wanted to go somewhere and travel the world. And that was my dream. I don't know how I was going to do it, but somehow I was going to travel around the world. And do you know, by the time I was 16, I had been listening to this song by John Denver. Some of you may have heard this story before. John Denver, Take Me Home, Country Roads, and then Rocky Mountain High. So I was dreaming of the Rocky Mountains, and I made it to the Rocky Mountains by the time I was 16. And then I dreamed of traveling outside the United States. And when I was 21, I got to live in Japan for the first time. And that was just amazing. My friends thought they didn't know what I was doing because I wasn't in the Army. Most people go when they're in the Army or something, right? So my friend's father was a detective. When I came back from there, And then I went to another country. He said, what are you, CIA or something? I wasn't CIA. But somehow, because I work and luck, but I always had a dream of traveling. And I've traveled. That was a dream that I had to travel. And I've traveled to China, Pakistan, Thailand, Korea, Japan 4 times. I lived in Japan. So luckily, I was able to fulfill that dream. It was mostly about traveling at that time. But now I have a new dream with Atomy. And one of my dreams, my new dreams, you've heard about my RV dream. I'm not telling you about that dream. I have another dream, which is to not only have residual income with Atomy, and you know, Jason sometimes talks about we need residual income because we have residual bills, right? Like electric bill and telephone bill. Well, I have a dream to build not only a house, off-grid, very modern house, very nice house, but also off-grid means I don't have to pay electricity because I'm going to get it from the sun and have a sunroom. I already have the design. I picked it out. There's a design that's already out there. Collects the water, so you have fresh rainwater. Yeah. And I used to just have a dream to build for myself, that kind of house for me and my family, but I made a bigger dream now that I'm in Atomy. And I have a dream to make like a little village with like 10 or 20 of these kind of houses with people with the same idea, mentality, and have a couple restaurants and a stage in the middle too for like shows, you know, that kind of thing. And like another dome house that has like a, when it rains, it's like a town center for kids and other people. And also, the reason I want so many houses is because I want people that maybe have a tough luck in their life. And they have dignity. I want to give them dignity and have them come. Week, month, year, whatever it is. And get to know them. Of course they're going to use Atomic products eventually. You know? So that's my dream. I'm already looking for the land in New Jersey, in the countryside. And there's already, like I said, there's already a blueprint. These are already being made. Someone designed them for over 20 years. They tried a lot of methods, and now they're really cool. Inside is very, you know, comfortable. Always 70 degrees.
It's cold. It's nice.
And no electric bill, no water bill. Garden. There's a. I should bring a picture next time. There's like a greenhouse at the beginning. It faces south, so you grow your own banana trees and vegetable. By the sink, you have all the seasonings. That to me is a dream life. That's my dream life, to get up in the morning and to be able to eat my fresh vegetables, right? The garden. Already the banana, go get a banana. I don't have to go to Stop and Shop, give them my money. I don't need to give them my money. You know, that kind of a life. And you know what I say in my dream? I can just do what I want that day. Because my dream really is to have time. How many people want to have more time? Oh my gosh, so many of us, right? That's probably the most valuable thing, right? Time. But why we can't have time? Why I have to work for what?
Money.
Oh, the money, right?
Work for people.
Because we have a what? A job? We have to pay the bills, so we need a job. Just over broke? Job? Sometimes just JOB is a just over broke. But sometimes it's JPB. Just plain broke.
Just plain broke.
Just broke. But you know what? If we're broke, it's okay. Because broke is a temporary condition. Right? If you're poor, that's like a lifestyle, like a long-term. If you think you're poor, you have no hope or chance, right? But if you're a little bit just over broke, then you have a hope, right? So that's why we have to dream. And with Atomy, we have a possible tool, right? Atomy is a tool that we can get rich. And we don't have to go to a job, right? Because we're going to have residual income. We're going to have time. But then that's going to happen. That's why Mr. Park wants us to plan our life so that we can use our time and our money well. That's why he created this Balanced Life Scenario book for us. That's why he keeps telling us and inspiring us that if you stick with it, with Atomy, the products are so good and so cheap that people are going to buy them. Eventually you work hard, you're going to get a right person and people, and you're going to make it, right, in Atomy. So we know that. We keep hearing that over and over again. The products are so good, and the marketing plan is righteous. So it's going to happen, but we have to more and more plan for that life. And one way to do it is an exercise, but also we should look at it over and over again. So I have 2 questions before we start our exercise, but one of them is, because we have to break our brain, right? Because I don't think I don't dream big enough all the time. I think we all don't dream big enough all the time. But just for one exercise, just imagine the best day of your life so far. Just by yourself, just imagine. What was the best day of your life? Maybe it was you won an award. Maybe you helped somebody and changed their life. Maybe you brought Jesus to somebody. Maybe you went on a vacation. It was so relaxing, beautiful, right? Maybe you had a child that was so joyful. But what was the most amazing day of your life, that brought you joy? That's the kind of inspiration to use to break our minds. So how can we have a joyful life every day? How can we bring joy to other people? Because they say in giving we receive joy, right? So that's another opportunity we have. We're going to have enough. $50,000 a month is enough to have a decent house, a car, whatever it is, pay your bills, right? But then you're going to be able to give to other people. Wow, that's going to be a big opportunity to help people. So that's the kind of thing we have to think about. So let's just close our eyes for a minute, and I'm just going to ask you to imagine for the future. Imagine you have all the time, all the money in the world, all the time and all the money in the world, so you don't have to do anything when you get up that day. What do you want to do? The day that you have your $50,000 coming in already. What are you going to do that morning?
Nothing.
What are you going to eat?
Small.
Who are you going to eat it with? What kind of scenery you want to be? You want to be on the beach, living on the beach that day? Do you want to be up in the mountains, looking up? You want to be in my village, grabbing a banana right next to the sink? What kind of a day you want to have? You want to go into visit your hospital that you helped to build with 10 other people from that, and go just see the kids that are recovered from cancer because they have a Elohim there too, right? And good food. What do you want to do? What kind of car do you want to drive? I don't want to drive a car. I want someone to drive me. I'm not going to use robot now. My village, I'm going to have 4 drivers just for myself. I need 2 for my RVs, 1 for my car, 1 for my wife's car. That kind of thing. So what kind of day you're going to have? You can do anything. Don't be silly and do like Jeff Bezos of Amazon. He has $70 billion. What's he doing? Is he building hospitals? No. He's building a rocket ship to send people to Mars. I mean, that's his decision, but that's not my dream. So what are you going to do with that? So that's kind of the exercise, right? What can you do? What can you feel? How healthy can you be? How can you help kids be healthy? Maybe I'll have a garden planted in the school in my town so that the kids can learn how to grow vegetable and eat the good vegetable that doesn't have all the pesticides in them. And they understand what it's like to use the soil and see things grow. So many people in the cities don't do that kind of thing. That kind of imagination we need to have a big, big dream, right? A big, big dream. So that's the kind of approach to take, I think, when we're doing our balanced life scenario. So I'm going to explain, and I think we should hand out, could someone help hand out the papers? I'm going to explain again about the balanced life scenario in a couple of stages, We have a booklet. We have a booklet in anatomy.
Oh, here.
And
You need a pen?
this
You
booklet
pass
is, sometimes I think
Okay.
I'm going to pass pens and if you have a booklet already, especially the Korean folks that may be outside. If you don't have one, raise your hand.
And we would appreciate it if you give the pens back. Please. And you get one at the Success Academy. Pen
So
anyone?
Okay, everybody have one? So I'm going to explain this now, but sometimes we just think that this
Yeah, I'm
is
gonna
like a
exchange for
checklist
you. I
to do,
overheard
but
what you
really
said.
this,
But
the
you
real
will
thing-
become this.
Yeah.
okay, everything okay back there? Okay.
Yeah.
The real thing about this is not the filling it out, but it's really the dreaming part. That's why I started with those examples of dreaming, because I think sometimes we go through this exercise and we're just filling it out. But, you know, we have to dream really big, you know, dream really big, because I think sometimes we just focus on, you know, the car or the house, and that's fine. But we have to be specific also. You know, so what we're going to do in a minute, I'm going to give you some time to work on this alone, but let me just explain it, especially for some of our newcomers. Just what this is meant to be is it has three pieces in this part. You know, this is the page. It's called Life Scenario, and use this as a pointer. So the whole point about this is we have a category, like as you see here. You get to decide what's important to you. So you may have a family, car, education, maybe church, maybe travel. You can put how many ever categories. So the circles are the categories, you know, my house, my car, those kind of goal you have, okay? That you want, your dream life, you have a certain type of life with a house or a car or education or travel, that kind of thing, right? So that's what the circle is, it's the category. And then what we do is we say, okay, the box is for us to put the details in there. You know, if you want a house, what kind of a house? Do you want a mansion, you know, with 20 rooms? Or do you want, you know, a very nice condo in Fort Lee? How many bedrooms and what's the view and that kind of thing. Very detailed. Because if you don't have a detail, you don't know where to shop, right? If you want a beautiful, like I need 20 acres. So I know I need 20 acres for my village, right? 20 acres for my village. So now I have to look in a certain place for that. Now I know where to shop. If you want a nice condo in New York City, then you're going to decide, you know, what you want. Or maybe you want a nice little villa back in your home country as well. Maybe you're going to have 2 or 3 houses. But until you have the specifics, you don't know where to shop, right? So that's why we need to put the details. Also with the details, we're describing really vivid dream. And then when we shop and we have a picture, right? You get a picture of that kind of house. Mr. Park even said he went and visited, right? He went and visited his dream house in Korea when he was living in one little room. He went to visit the neighborhood, walked around, I'm going to live here. And then he went to the open houses. Did you ever do that? Go to the open house of the fanciest thing you could find 3 towns over. And then you imagine yourself in that house. And then you have them take a picture. The real estate people don't worry. They'll take a picture of you in the kitchen or out in front of the house. And then you put that on your refrigerator or on your computer. And then that vivid dream, you know, you have to dream what's the future. Like I had a dream of the Rocky Mountain before I could get there. I had a dream of that Rocky Mountain. I sang about it all the time. I sang about that Rocky Mountain probably every day after school for 2 years. I just wanted to see a bald eagle, you know. I wanted to see a bald eagle, and I saw a bald eagle. I was on the Snake River. It was in Wyoming, I think. And we were going down this river, and I saw the bald eagle that John Denver sang about. You know, but I was looking for that bald eagle for like 7 weeks. Because I was dreaming about that for 2 years. If I didn't have the dream, I didn't know where to look, and I wouldn't be looking. Right? So that's what we have to do. So that's the detail. Then, what's this stuff all about? I think people sometimes forget about this stuff. But, you know, everybody's starting where they are today, and they're going to go to their beautiful dream future. Okay? So the beautiful dream future is what you're describing here, and that's going to be a 10. This should be 10 marks, right? So 10 is when you reach your dream, right? Your big dream. So what we do here is say, okay, if 10 is like the big dream, then we mark off where we are today. You know, 20. I don't have 20 acres. So I'm like way down here, you know. And I don't have 20 houses on that 20 acres. But you know what I mean? So this is to say where I am today, and then we update this over, you know, every month we should be looking at it, every couple months updating it. Maybe our dreams are getting bigger. Our dreams are getting bigger. From that one house, now I have 20 houses, I'm thinking. So that's what it is today, and then we update it as we go along. You know? So that's what that's for. So we're going to take the first. I'm going to call it time A, part A. I'm going to give you some time to do that, but I just want to tell you what the next steps are, because then we get kind of excited and go. But the next part of it is this, and we won't spend as much time on it. But the next part is, if you have a dream, you have your dream description on this page, then you have to think about the time it's going to take. The time it's going to take. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, after you do your description, what I always like to do is to put the amount of money. So for example, let's say just one beautiful house, maybe it's $1 million house, for example. If it's $1 million house, now maybe you want to pay cash, but at the beginning maybe you can't, right? Until you get enough money. But maybe you have to pay, $50,000, $50,000 a year or something, right? So then you need $50K. You want to pay quickly. Whatever that number is, or a beautiful car. You have, like my RV is $1 million, so I need, about $2,000 a month. So, and then when you have these numbers, you can add them up and see. So sometimes we have, let's say we want to travel several trips a year. Maybe we need another $10,000 a year, and $2,000. Add them up, and that would be $12,000 over here, and whatever that is. So I need $75,000 at least. So that's what it is. Add up the different things. Education, maybe you want to give your child, opera lessons, and that costs another $500 a month. I'm going to take this down to 5K. Let's say 5K. So that would be 5,500 and 12,000. So that's about 17,500 I need for my dream. So, like I say, first is the category. So this is our car, which is RV. This was travel, and I'm going to describe, go to Europe, go to Korea, go to Fuji, every year go to a different one. So all the details, and then the number it might take that you need, per month, and then this is how much you need per month. So you need to be Star Master. And if you don't know that amount yet, you can figure it out with your sponsor. But that brings it to reality, right? So once we know what the budget is, then we go to this time frame, and we can start to talk about, how much income you're going to have by what date. So if you're, diamond master, well, say you're a sales master now. Let's say you're making $2,000 a month. That's not enough. So how am I going to get to Star Master? Maybe it takes another 3 years, so I have to put down, right? Star Masters is from 20,000 and up. So, everybody get it? So we'll do the first one. So now I'm going to release you to give you time to work alone. Let's have a quiet here. We're going to work alone now. And it's just a chance to fill in the paper on this part, the life scenario description first. I'll give you an extra time to do the time frame. Anybody have any questions on what this means and how to do it? And if you came with a sponsor, if you're new, then your sponsor can also answer questions, or you could ask me or somebody. All right, so I'm going to give you 15 minutes to do this part. And think big. Think big. And if you think you're doing bigger, double it.
Let me turn off.